This episode is sponsored by Moonlight Liquor, located 265 North Moonlight Road, Gardner, Kansas. Open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Moonlight Liquor is the biggest around with a square footage of 10,000 feet. They carry 48 cooler doors full of domestic and imported beer, a huge craft selection, including local breweries, also accessible through the walk-in cooler. They carry a wide selection of domestic and imported wines, including local wineries and an organic and sustainable wine selection. And of course, a massive selection of spirits in the course.
And for you cigar fans, like myself, Moonlight Liquor has a walk-in humidor that carries a nice variety of over 30 cigar brands. With that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Big Modcast. Yeah, Chris, welcome back. We missed you in our last episode.
Yeah, you missed a good episode, though.
Yeah.
So are you going to at least watch it?
No.
Why not?
You should.
Very entertaining.
Yeah, Mom tried to play off the same mannerism that you do, so everything she was saying was like in a real monotone, like unexpressionless kind of voice, like, yeah.
That's just how I talk.
Yeah.
Well, then it means you got it from Mom, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the way your mom really is, behind the microphone.
Nah.
Cheer up, son. Welcome back, like I said. Marcos, how are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of noticing that, did you only give me this beanie for my birthday just so you can roll it out yourself? Because now you have one, Chris has one, and it feels a little less special. It feels a little less special than it did the first time I got it.
Wait,
I was like, I'm the only one that has a beanie now. That's amazing.
Well, okay,
That's awesome.
just think about it. You had it for a whole week before we did.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, at least you have a sweatshirt. I don't have a sweatshirt.
Yeah, I know. No, wait.
Okay. Well, Gold Fire Protection. Yeah, he hooked us up. Thank you very much, Greg Ochoa. Appreciate it. But yeah, you had it for a whole week, so I hope. And you wore it. You haven't taken it off.
No, I know. I've been wearing it the whole time. I'm getting, because I thought it was special, but now that if everybody has one.
Oh, come on. You're still special. You got it before we did.
All right.
And what if I start selling them?
That's okay. That's different. I know, but I would have liked it. I thought it was going to be till like after Christmas or during Christmas, maybe like, oh, these are now available.
Be selfish, you ass.
Oh my God. Jeez. It was my birthday less than a week ago.
Oh, you know what? And speaking of your birthday, I forgot to sing your song.
No, but you did put in the comments, or
right?
You made a post about it, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah, but I was supposed to sing it to you.
Yeah.
It's your birthday celebration. And that's as far as we got. We still did a lot of work to that.
And then he goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a parody that we came up with or something. I had sang it out of something instead of the regular just happy birthday. I took the beat of
it was that now I can't remember what it was. Not Celebration from Kool and the Gang.
No, it was something else.
Yeah.
I can't remember
what Super Tramp. They have a song, and I can't remember what it's called.
And I'm trying to think of it because you might be right.
Because I played it for you, and you're like, oh yeah, I think that's where I got it from. Anyway, so real quick, tell you what happened to me this morning.
What?
So we cleaned out. We cleaned out our bedroom. Mom and I cleaned out our bedroom. Threw a bunch of crap furniture from the 90s.
Yeah.
And so I started filling up some bags with some trash that I had in the garage. You know how I did the floors?
Yeah.
Took all that carpet out. So I threw them in these yellow bags that we have at home. And so I made them light enough for me to just grab and throw them in a dumpster.
Sure.
Right? And the dumpster's like 8 foot tall or 10 foot tall.
Were you shooting baskets with these?
Well, I mean, that's why I had to make them light, right? I had to make these bags light. And it was 3 bags. And I threw them in the back of my truck. I forgot that they were sitting in the back of my truck.
Okay.
So on my way to work, I'm flying down the highway.
Oh, no.
And I see them some bitches floating around in the back of the truck. Dude, I'm on 35, going 65, 70. And real quick, I had to slow down. I had to get in the fast lane because these 3 bags are just floating around.
I know the feeling.
You know what they look like? Those rubber duckies It's
yeah.
sitting in water.
Yeah.
They're just kind of.
And they were
Carnival.
it's what it looked like. I was like, oh man, I hope they don't. I don't want to be that guy where
Yeah,
my
that's what I
my
was gonna
trash
say.
is flying
I
down
was gonna
the.
say you're that guy.
I didn't want to be him, so I immediately had to slow down. I had to slow down, get in the slow lane. Then I got people pissed off at me because I'm driving slow, shooting around me. I'm like, I'm not gonna be that guy.
You got to
You know?
time.
And I've seen those people that just drive around, hell, right there off the Schweitzer where I live. The wife and I went for a walk, and this guy just shoots right by us, and he was flying. I mean, he was just flying down the road, and 2 mattresses flew out of the back of his truck. And then he never went and picked them up.
Hey, I saw a recliner in the center lane on I-35.
No way.
Yeah.
Anybody
And you
sitting
know
in
how
it?
you're just driving.
Anybody sitting in it? That's crazy.
Yeah, he might as well be a ghost if he is at this point.
I'm of the same group mindset. I've always said if I'm helping someone move something in the back of my truck, I go, look, we need to be on the same page here. If it falls out, we are not going back for it.
Right.
We are going to keep going.
Drive!
But
Depending on, I don't care what it is, the dresser, because there's no way, someone's not going to hit it and you're at the scene. Like, I'd rather, let's just keep going. I'm not going back for it.
well, shit.
Did you just break the
Look.
tab?
And I've been saving this one too.
Just pop it with your key.
No. Oh. I'll fuck with that later.
All right, well,
But yeah, anyway, okay. Well, let's introduce our guest. I'm sure everybody always heard it, and I'm sure everybody out there's like, oh yeah, I think I know who's sitting in the chair with them today. Somebody I've known for quite a while, although we don't communicate a whole lot, but through Facebook, we see each other, we see what's going on, and we know the same people. So I appreciate you coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Art Vargas.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you asking.
I think this is cool because, like I said, I remember from back in the day when I knew who you were and I seen you, and I was afraid of you.
Afraid?
I was afraid because Art was just I was this little guy and Art was the big guy, and
That was
you had your whole crew.
That was commonplace.
Back in school.
Yeah, I was.
But yeah, I'm glad you're here. Let me open up my notes.
Yeah, I turned a new leaf.
Yeah.
Not really. I was always the same person, but I was just your kids, and I had things,
Right.
and I was real. I mean, my son has it too. He's just serious.
Oh, yeah?
Just like, don't touch me.
Yeah, that's what I remember. I was like,
Yeah, you
nobody
remember that?
messes with Art.
Yeah, and it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, that whole group and the extended group, was it.
Yep.
It was family.
Yeah.
And it was a strange. I kind of appreciated it then, but more so after I got out of high school and got out into the general population. I guess
In the real world.
well, yeah,
Or-
some people would say that,
Uh-huh.
and it kind of come full circle with me that I was like, you know what, I think I grew up in the real world.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't too much fake about it. You got to admit that.
Right.
I mean, it was real every day.
Yeah.
Everyone was close knit, friends, but I mean, you walk into the wrong conversation and you walk into the wrong place at the wrong time, and then you're in a whole different situation.
Right.
And the thing is we had to grow up that way, and it's like something that you learn, that you got ingrained in your head that kids shouldn't know.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
You shouldn't have to know that. But I mean, you walk into a place, you look around, you see, and then you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Or you're like, no, not here. I'm going because something's going on over there.
Yeah.
I think.
Something sketchy, maybe.
Well, you
just never know.
Well,
You
just
never
how
know.
we grew up.
Yeah.
It was a kind of interesting, getting to school every day. It not really so serious, but it was just kind of intertwined with our lives.
Yeah.
You have fun. We all had goofed around, had a good time and everything like that. But, you had a little bit of serious things going on that, other kids probably, never had to deal with.
True.
Which is, and they shouldn't, they shouldn't have to. But no, after all that said and done. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Good deal.
I know. That was kind of funny that you said that. I was wondering if you're going to say that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It was just, no, but we all took care of each other.
Oh, yeah.
We always did. And I think that whole experience, especially the football part, really gave me a foundation to build on, and kind of took me to that edge where, you had to get that piss and vinegar out of you, and let you know what you're made out of, and then it becomes a drug, that you're just like, I like that, I want that. And that was the foundation. Honestly, no more now that I think about it and I'm older now, that was the foundation that leveled me out and said, what kind of man are you going to be? You're going to be a good man, or you can go the other route. Like, there was a lot of people in our neighborhood kind of went the other route. Yeah. And it's just like, it gave me an outlet to take all that frustration and, let it out on somebody. And we did. We did.
Yeah. So, definitely. Yeah. We're definitely going to get into that, that good stuff, the high school memories. Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember me from high school?
I do. I do. And like I said, it was the nucleus, and then it was the extended family. Yeah. And you're a couple of years younger. We always had a mutual respect for each other. Yep. I did remember that you were in that, breakdancing group. Yeah. And you had, wearing the garb and stuff like that. But
Are you looking at me like, why am I laughing? Just because it's hilarious.
Because you're just thinking about it.
Yeah, because I can imagine it. Because I could just I could probably imagine how ridiculous he must have looked.
This guy likes to wish he was just to see
if you think
video.
About it this way, it wasn't something that people were getting into. That was already established. It was being established as we grew up, as we went on. And it was, it went from being kind of just a thing that people were doing on the side to actually, in a couple of years, it was like, hey, I know you guys had brought up, you'd mentioned some people started sharpening the edges on that. Mm-hmm. Dominic, and then they were doing stuff down at Memorial Hall.
Right. Those guys are doing big time stuff, man.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh.
Because you were a dancer back in the day too.
Yeah, but I wasn't that.
You were more just doing the Smurf. And
we were at
Cabbage Patch.
We were at the parties.
The WAP.
Yeah, me and Poncho used to go to the. You remember going down to the Legion?
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was the Legion, and that's what I was going to bring up. Did you ever go down to the convention center down in KCK?
I used to go down there, but for like quinceañeras and stuff like that.
Of course.
Yeah, that was the spot.
It was the same band. Either it was Los Estrellas or who was it?
It was La Mañana Band.
Yeah, and it was the same party every weekend, except
different hosts.
Different hosts. Yeah, and the whole this is how it went down. How you
break it down.
There was an invite that was sent out, right?
Right.
And in that invite, you have an envelope outside, you have the return envelope inside, and you have the invitation. Okay, and so, and this is all phone, because you're calling people as, hey, are you going to the convention center such and such is having a birthday or quinceañera or a wedding or whatever. That was secondary, to going to the party. Really, I don't know who it is, and you're just like, I just want to go. So, well, how do you get in? Well, you got to take your invitation,
right? And then they were waiting there for us.
Yeah, you would pass out those little pieces. Yeah. To 4 or 5 of your buddies. And you would go to the door and you're like, I forgot the rest of it. You're a kid. Yeah. So they're just like, okay, come on in. So now, boom, you're in there. Okay.
So you snuck everybody in. That's awesome.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is okay, so now you see all your buddies. and everyone's there. It's a Mexican, traditional Mexican music atmosphere at this point. Okay. And all the viejos are there sitting at the tables, and they have.
What did you call them?
No, the old man.
Yeah, all the old men.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
That was out of respect. They earned that.
I didn't know that word for a second. What? What did he call them?
Because they're alive. But so you walk in and you pay your respects.
Uh-huh.
You walk up and how are you doing? And how's the family? And because you're seeing what girls are at the table, you got to talk to them first. This was. I don't know if you remember this. I remember you going to a party and you had to ask the guys that were at the table if you could talk to that girl. Remember that?
Dang, that's weird.
Can I ask her to dance?
Interesting. Oh, but was it like a daughter sitting with the father, or you mean just like a group of guys?
You see a table and there's a girl that you're interested in. You know she's not dating anyone, and you don't know the other people. Maybe you do, kinda. Regardless, you go talk to them. Same situation. Pay your respects. Hi, how's it going? Do you guys mind if I ask her to dance? And then they'll give you the head nod, and she could say no.
She can say no, sure.
But the thing is
that is interesting.
If that, and it seems goofy back then, but now, like if that hierarchy kind of respect would happen now, a lot of the mishmash kind of goofy stuff that goes on out there probably wouldn't happen. And you did that for several reasons, out of respect, and you just really want to go dance with a girl, but you're not gonna. You don't know who's talking to her,
right?
You don't know. She's sitting there for a reason, and somebody's interested in her. So it was just that mindset. But anyway, you go into all the viejos are there, right? And they come, how they had their bottles of alcohol and the mixes and stuff like that. Okay, so you go talk to them, whatever. They sit around for about an hour, and then they just like, boys, or kids, be careful, take care of yourselves, and they bounce.
Yep.
And the band changes, and all of a sudden you got your mixes there, your mixed drinks and stuff like that. They leave everything on the table. They leave because they're just basically dropping their kids off. Yeah.
And you had a few that you would chaperone.
Yeah.
Make sure everything was cool.
And then the band changes. They play upbeat music, and then that was your.
Then you party on.
That was your party.
Yeah. Interesting.
Interesting. But the thing is you go to the convention. You can go a whole month, and you probably wouldn't even know the person or event that it was.
Yeah, who was hosting it? Yeah,
I want to go. I want to go. And you just go.
Yep. And then a lot of the times back then, if you didn't have an invitation, like I said, you couldn't get in.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
You weren't going to get in.
That was the
I've seen
whole
some people get kicked out, and
Yeah.
some people never even let in.
Yeah.
Come down the escalators, go right back up.
Yeah,
Some bitch,
it
'cause
was
you're
an
not coming in.
event.
Yeah. And then you had your troublemakers and your knuckleheads and trying to get in and out. But
Yeah, and eventually at the last, hour
Yeah.
or so, you want to get out of there anyway at that point, but
yeah.
it's just funny growing up and thinking about those situations and like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I wonder if the convention center is still being used. Once in a while I'll pass by there. It looks a lot different because they rebuilt stuff around or put up stuff, knock stuff down. It looks pretty different around in that area.
I do business with Security Bank at Kansas City down there.
Okay.
It seems to be active.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, I guess because I haven't been in there. Shit, I think the last time I was in there, there was a sale going on. Somebody was getting rid of T-shirts and one of those type of deals. I tell you what's crazy is about that is, I once went in there and I swear I met Ewing Kaufman.
Are you serious?
I believe so. And I tell you,
how old were you? What'd you say?
I was teen. I was a teenager.
Okay, I put
in
him
there,
in more close to age because he was old.
Yeah, he was an older gentleman. I walked into this and they were selling a bunch of T-shirts, and so back in that day, I was a huge Patrick Ewing fan, and I happened to find.
You're not anymore.
No, I still am. I still am. Georgetown, and that's how I started following him from Georgetown, and then
The next
They were hot. Well,
when we were in school, and so they were fun to watch. And so I go into the convention center, and they're selling a bunch of Adidas stuff. I'm all into the Adidas, and I find some Adidas T-shirts that say Ewing on them. I was like, sweet, So I bought 4 or 5.
God damn, why you need so many shirts?
Well, because they were, and then back then they were cheap. They're like $4 a T-shirt, And so this older gentleman says, "That's a nice shirt you're picking. You have there in your hands." And I said, "Oh yeah, you like that?" And he goes, "I definitely like it." And I looked at him. I was like,
Pervert.
"Is it him?" No, see, I thought that was Ewing Kaufman because it said the shirts said Ewing on them.
Yeah.
I
bet it was.
And he looked at it, he goes, and he was like, "Yeah, those are really nice shirts." And I looked at him like, at that time I was like, "Man, this guy looks so familiar." And these shirts say Ewing on them.
Yeah.
And he loved them, or either that or he was a Patrick Ewing fan.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know how we got into that.
That is good.
It was pretty cool. And
But you never found out those. Right?
I never found out.
You just walked away.
I just walked away, and another time I saw I can't remember his name, so let's just forget about that.
All right,
maybe it'll pop back up in my head. Yeah. Anyway, so we missed you we were up in Harmon.
I know.
We did that. That was episode 16
and I
for
wanted
the 50
to go
years.
there. I actually had COVID.
Oh, you did?
no.
And I didn't. That was the first and only time that I had it.
Okay.
And I got it right then. And I was going to go.
Well, good, yeah, because I remember we messaged you and you said, "Oh yeah, I'll see you there. I can't wait."
So I was going to go there, and I just had just gotten asked to be a part of the Hall of Fame committee.
Okay, so you are a part of that. Sweet.
Yeah, and I was I was going up there. I had some banners that I had made already that they were going to put on Augie's table and stuff like that, and I did the designs and stuff like that for the banners, the Hall of Fame banners that are going to go up probably maybe beginning of the year or something.
Okay.
So, and they're going to put them back in the gym. Nice. And now they're going to start. I don't know if they were voting before, but they're. I know
they'll start.
They're going to. Yeah, and I kind of feel bad because right when that happened, that's when my busy season hit, and I haven't been able to.
But you're still a part of their little organization there.
Yeah. Now I'm gearing down, right? Because the end of the year, I'm probably last week. And then now it's just playing catch up with invoices and stuff like that and just trying to get things ready for next year. But now I can start. I'm on a normal pace. But I couldn't believe it. I got COVID and I was like, dang it, I wanted to go. You guys interviewed my brother.
Yeah, that day. Do you remember?
I do not.
You remember?
He was a big
Ruben.
Yeah.
I think he had a Chiefs hat on. Come in. He was pretty funny. Yeah, that was good. Good to see him. I hadn't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
And I saw him walking through there, and I'm like, yep, I think we're gonna have to get him
longest.
in. And then he was kind of eyeballing us, and he's like, I'm gonna sit there and talk to these guys. So it was cool. It was cool that he sat and talked with us.
I'm gonna have to put a flashback in so I can remember.
Yeah.
So let me start up. Welcome to the Big Modcast. This is the name of the podcast. I'm Mario. This is my son Marcos.
How's it going?
If you would please state your name and the year you graduated.
My name is Ruben Vargas, and I graduated in '85.
Yeah, what's interesting is you guys did a podcast with Ben, and Ben brought up the fact that he played basketball with it was like the Mexican trio, and Ruben, him, and I think it was Chris.
Yes.
And then I had talked to Ruben between that time.
Okay.
And he had said, "Oh, if I go up there and if I get on there, I'm gonna say the same thing that Ben did." So, yeah. So
that's funny. Yeah, that was cool that he come by, and that was. And did you watch that episode?
I did.
Yeah, it was a good crowd. I mean, nice little crowd. It worked out perfect. I mean, sometimes can't get too many, because I like to hear stories. We like to hear the stories that people have. And if we would have had a bunch of people, then we would have cut everybody short.
I'm telling you,
I'm sure you had some stories.
I had some.
Did you?
I was going to bring Carnahan with me, and there was like 3 or 4 people that were like, "If you're going, I'm going."
Okay.
I'm like, okay, we're going, and it was the It was the fellas, you
Yeah.
know, that you played football with. I mean, it was the boys.
Yeah.
And we were going to just come up and bum rush the whole thing.
That would have
you know?
that would have been
And
cool.
I got sick, and then Carnahan was like, I mean, everyone's, they're like, hey, I
sorry
gotta
you,
work
you
and
went
stuff
through
like
that shit. How were you down for a week or so or what?
Yeah. It was a weird, strong flu.
Yeah.
A lot of sleeping, and but I mean, I got all my shots and vaccinations and stuff like that. So
Before
before.
Ain't that crazy how you did all that and I did the same thing?
Well, and the thing is my family was pretty regimented about everything that came up that was suggested.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? We should kind of be doing that anyway. And what actually COVID showed me, I was like, we're probably some dirty people. It's like, why are you not washing your hands?
Right, I know,
And
right?
it was just like, why are you not?
Damn, we should have been washing our hands more often.
We gotta make sure you're well, or she'll take you to the doctor. Don't touch me, I'm sterile.
This is, that's what I thought. I was just like,
I know,
of
right?
course. Just commonplace. Before you prepare food, wash your hands.
Yeah.
Quit picking your nose. I mean, it's just like,
Right.
And I was like,
Well, I like to,
old school.
what?
And I was like, no wonder why my mom, straight from Mexico,
Uh-huh.
spoke nothing but Spanish. Don't ever touch your face. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your face. Never knew why, but that's what she always told us. You don't touch your face, you don't get sick.
Yeah. Well, did you speak Spanish when you were younger?
I don't.
No.
No, and it's a kind of a sore spot in a way because we were actually told, this kind of gets kind of a little deep, I guess. We were actually told
Not to.
not to. Lose your accent. Learn English
Yeah.
the best you can, and you'll be better accepted.
Right.
But the thing is all my family now is all bilingual. I mean, I got 18 kids in my family. I have 7 sisters and 10 brothers.
Dang.
And
Holy.
I never knew that.
yeah,
Hey, jeez.
yeah.
Your poor
Also-
mom.
Same mom, same dad. Hey, the worst thing that happened to my mom is she got bored
Yeah.
after everyone. I mean,
After everyone's gone? How can
Hey.
anyone be gone?
hey, and I got 30 nieces and nephews.
And they're still growing. Right?
Yeah, I mean the great
It's like
nieces and nephews,
gremlins.
I don't even count them anymore.
Throw water
I
on
don't even
somebody
know
and they
half
start
of
popping out.
Like gremlins.
them. Yeah,
Great. Thanks a lot.
Sorry. Who's in that jar?
Nothing, just water.
$50 at Christmas, easy in my mom's ranch house.
Yeah.
Holy
Standing
cow.
there, I mean, you're just like t-shirt.
But you know what? And that
because it's gonna get hot
right. And but
Everybody has to stay on the barn for the space.
that's awesome.
outside.
I love that. I do
awesome.
love that. I love the
Yeah.
idea of big, huge families.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about 18, but I mean, like, that's still kind of awesome.
Yeah,
You know,
I
a little
tell you,
cheaper by the
Where
dozen.
what number are you in?
I'm the
Where?
last.
Dang.
My family's an older family.
Yeah.
How old's your oldest sibling?
Is she 25 or 30 years older than me? I think it happened pretty quick. And every 2 years, every 3 years.
Yeah.
They're having kids.
Any twins or triplets?
Yeah, one
in there?
set of twins.
One set of twins.
Well, actually, 2 set of twins.
Really?
Yeah.
Every 2 years, that means over a 36-year period.
Yeah. The initial children,
Yeah.
they passed away down in Mexico.
Sorry to hear.
And I didn't know them. I saw one picture of them after my mom passed, and we were cleaning her room,
Really?
and it had to be them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
because
sure
it
it
was a set of girls, and it was an older picture, and they were dressed up in the bonnets and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I asked my older sisters, I was like, "Is that them?" They're like, "Yeah."
Wow.
And especially come from the old country.
Yeah.
They don't talk about anything. They don't give you information. And so
Yeah.
it was all mystery. It's like you didn't. I remember playing when we were kids, playing down in the cemetery, and that's what we were doing. We were visiting their gravesite. You know, because we were chasing little lizards around. Me and Ruben were. You know.
Okay.
And
Wait, is this in Mexico?
yeah, Mexico,
Okay.
yeah. There was, and after that, then they came up to Texas, and then they had my oldest sister Gloria. You know, and I think it was a milk thing. Something happened, but I don't know if that was directly related to the reason why they came up here or not. But you know,
Milk?
yeah, they had something,
Some kind of like maybe the cows were infected and then just
or maybe maybe it's
Or
just,
at the manufacturer.
yeah, you just take it for granted that things aren't processed
correctly.
okay to
yeah.
and here and up
Interesting.
down there. Maybe they're not.
Right.
You know, but I mean, it was so long
But
ago.
milk's supposed to do the body good.
Well, it's and it's all that mystery, you know,
Right.
that old timers just don't talk.
You know, we're the only species that drinks another species' milk.
Don't dolphins? Do dolphins? No.
Well, no.
What do you mean?
As in terms of humans are the only. We drink the milk of another animal,
Oh, I got
not in our own
Yeah.
race or in our own species. Like
Yeah.
no other an animal only drink the milk of its
That's
mother,
true.
and then it doesn't drink milk for the rest of its life. We're the only species that does
That
that.
continues.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We're the only. Well, I can't say we're the only one. That
You can
does
feed a
things.
cat some milk, but it's
Yeah.
not like they're gonna do it naturally off
Yeah.
another
No,
cat.
they assimilated.
Yeah.
Which is what we're told to do. And
Right.
and actually, I remember seeing you and talking to you and knowing that you were bilingual. And
Oh, I thought you were going to say you
was
saw me
like-
drinking milk.
no, he was
And you're drinking
I
milk
thought you
that
were going to
day.
say, I remember seeing you drinking milk.
no, that you were. And I was just like, wow, he stuck it out. He did the thing. He did the right thing.
Yeah, because Spanish is my first language.
Yeah.
You know, not that I really don't remember it, but of course, speaking to my mom and dad, it was Spanish. And then, of course, when I hit kindergarten, I had to learn English.
Well, get this. My mom never spoke English.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah. And I spoke to her just like I'm talking to you. And she spoke to me in
And
Spanish.
she was able to understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we, and the thing, so there's definitely a door closed there, blocked, because I can say the words, I can put them together, but I just can't put a whole conversation. It just like stops there. So.
Yeah.
And now with having my kids, I have a boy that's 15, daughter that's 10. I'm like, I got to do something about it,
Yeah.
I mean, why shut that door,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, now I got to pay for something that I could have got for free, I mean, just,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the whole being proud of your culture, not ditching it or hiding it or just kind of floating over it,
Yeah.
And it gets, I don't want to get into,
It
into
gets
that whole
little.
thing, but
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
I had those conversations when I was a kid, like, hey, you, yeah, but you're like us. And now I look back at that and I was like, that should have offended me more than it did at the time.
Right.
But no, I did respect and appreciate the fact that you and the nucleus that you were in were all bilingual and strong in both English and Spanish, and were not afraid to
use it.
to use it, know it, and enjoy it.
Especially
The cuss words.
yeah. I mean, at school at Harmon, or even okay. Let me ask you this. Okay, so where did you go to school? What schools did you attend?
Major Hudson for grade school,
Okay.
and then Rosedale, and then Harmon.
Speaking of Rosedale, did you see this yesterday? I think it just came out yesterday that they just started a Hall of Fame
Oh, they did.
at Rosedale
Oh,
because it used to be a high school
yeah,
back in the day. It was
Yeah.
73. Last
Yeah.
class was 73, and I just saw this yesterday. They just started a Hall of Fame.
Wow, Barry Davies should be in there.
Yeah, I know he taught there. Did he attend? Did he go there?
If you look at his history of his schooling and his career,
Yeah.
he went back and forth from Rosedale to Harmon. That's what he did.
Yeah.
And it's a little stint at Sumner, I think, coached basketball.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Davies. The first time I saw him, I was playing basketball for Argentine. And we went up there, and I saw him, and that time he had a good team. Anthony Sanchez was a part of that team.
Yeah.
And, Winston Taylor and
Wentz.
those guys. They had a good team.
Yeah.
They kicked our ass. Chris Viegas was a part of that team as well.
Yeah,
they kicked our ass all up and down the floor. But I remember seeing Mr. Davies there. And then, like a year or two, he ended up at Harmon teaching there.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, and that's what he did. He went back.
To me, it looked like he followed all those kids that he coached and said, all right, these guys are all going to Harmon. I'm going to go to Harmon
with them. It was all
them.
calculated.
Yeah.
And his dad, I think, was a teacher too.
Oh,
and
really?
His son is a teacher.
Like now?
Same, yeah. Yep.
So you went to Rosedale and then, of course, Harmon.
Yeah. And Major Hudson I went to school with the Grados, Chris and Bernie.
Chris and Bernie.
Yeah.
Mark.
They were there. Ralph, the Viegases were there.
Yeah.
Joey Barajas, I mean, Ralph Viegas was the first person I met in kindergarten. First person that I walked into and met. And I knew him ever so. Him, Joey, it's like Rachel Harris, I think Tawan Kitchen. We went all the way through school.
And it's pretty, it's crazy. It's pretty cool that you can remember that from kindergarten.
Yeah,
because I can do the same thing. I can sit there and I remember where I sat and who I was with, and
isn't that interesting?
And my mom would take me to school and who we would pick up on our way to school, and
I think maybe it's because it's the first time that you set out and started doing things individually on your own. Maybe I was
a mama's boy. I did.
Yeah. Man, there ain't nothing wrong with it.
Right. There's no wrong.
There's not, man.
But what sucks is I can't tell you what I did 2 weeks ago. It's
no, exactly.
I guess and this.
I've
had so many damn concussions, man. It's crazy.
I have a very innate skill to wipe it clean. And I think it's, and what's interesting that you brought that up, and it kind of gets fuzzy around 8th grade first football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played football up at Rosa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We stomped them.
You guys beat everybody?
Our whole group, when we had line covered, okay? Mm-hmm. We had running backs covered, and when we played Argentine, that first game, we were picking and choosing. We're like, we need him for next year. And
so you guys are kind of like already recruiting in your heads.
Because I was averaging probably 4 to 5 sacks a game.
Oh, yeah.
But the thing is we needed that quarterback. We didn't have a quarterback.
Right.
We had a whole running team for that. I mean, we didn't need a quarterback. But you need a quarterback,
So I think it was Richie Blazovic. I think he might have been Argentine's quarterback.
At the time we were playing Argentine, it was Harless. It was, God rest his soul, Scott
Harless. Okay.
Yeah, and I remember sacking him, and
just kind of like
I'd grab him, I'd put him on the ground, and then I'd cover up because boom, 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 boom.
You're protecting.
Yeah, and then I was like,
"So you're
lucky." I said, "You're going to be our quarterback next year." He was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I pick him up. Congratulations! I can't wait."
You're like, "Wait a minute, are you going to go to Harmon?" Yeah. Okay, then you're safe.
We had to because
you rolled over and let them tackle.
Yeah.
His
dad, they lived right around the corner, and his dad used to coach there. And
because his sister, I remember his sister.
She went there for a year or so. Yeah, and then she went over to North with her dad.
Okay, but see, it's weird because I remember her too, and I just saw her pop up on Facebook. You have an 816 number, right? You live in Kansas.
Yeah,
but you have an 816 number. How'd you end up with that?
It just happened. It wasn't
because I have my phone number starts with an 816 as well.
I don't know where you're going with this. Like you and mom both have an 816.
So back in the day, the cell phones and everybody was getting cell phones. Yeah. So I've had my same number since maybe 90, 91,
Since
92.
you had the bag phone?
Yes.
Since you had the bag phone?
Exactly. I had that. I had the damn phone. I did. It's funny because I was going to ask you if you remember your first cell phone, but that was my first cell phone. But yeah, it was an 816 number. And I remember I said, why are we getting a Missouri number? We live in Kansas. And the first thing they said was, well, sorry, but we're out of Kansas numbers.
Yeah. That makes sense.
A lot of,
that sounds right.
I didn't know that was even
possible.
Even possible back then. I didn't know how that shit worked.
Remember when you didn't have to dial the area code?
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah,
And
it was
things were
just
posted,
it was
you
just
know,
the seven
marketing
numbers,
stuff or whatever. It was just the
just seven numbers. Yeah, and then
and then it was a big deal when they're like, you're gonna, because you're like, oh my god, how am I gonna remember this?
right.
You know, you're like
Another
freaking
three.
out. Yeah,
Another
another,
th-
three numbers.
Another
These extra
three
three
numbers.
digits, I'm not gonna
Hell,
be
I
able
used to get mixed up when people would ask, "What's your zip code?" 816.
Yeah.
or is it
Yeah.
913?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not even the zip code. Yeah, I've done that.
And now you don't
I've done
know
that a few
anyone's
times.
number. You know,
You're right. I couldn't.
I don't know my son's number, and that's scary.
Yeah,
That's scary. Yeah.
I don't think I know his number either.
I kind of know yours. I mean,
Well, yeah, I think you guys have practiced with ours because there was times that you got right, Chris.
No, not your cell numbers. For the longest time in elementary school and growing up, you learn your home address and your home phone number. Well, no one has a home phone anymore.
Yep.
So
And that's what I was going to ask you.
What's up?
Do you remember as a kid one of your house numbers?
Yep.
I do. I know like in a heartbeat.
Yep. I had a phone number. It was it was 913. It was a 3214829.
Yeah.
And then I remember.
I was like, is ours still used?
Okay, maybe that's the only one I remember. But that was the very first one when we moved we lived in Armadale, and then when I turned 5, we ended up in Argentine. In our first phone number was 3214829.
Yeah. See, ours was 3211474, and it went like.
Oh, so you
side,
yeah.
you had to
around
remember
top,
like these
like
little
a-
patterns.
like a backwards-
That's how you remembered.
a backward 7.
Yeah, you did. You had a remember, especially when the push buttons came out instead of the rotaries.
Yeah. I remember we pulled
Yeah.
my mom's
You
stuff.
had to have focus. You had to, because you're like, don't talk to me. I'm on the 4th number.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, those were some good times.
Do you remember the mobile phones? They were big, and then they got really small.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like I had one that was about this big, and it was a flip phone.
Yep. I had the Motorola phone like that.
And then they got bigger.
Yeah, and then right now it looks like people are carrying small TVs on the side of their heads.
Yeah.
They're talking on the phone. Yeah.
Better than having to use 2 hands for one phone. Like
Did you-
Yeah, well, we had
the bricks.
we had the brick phone, you know. And,
It's almost like the army kind of.
yeah, like
like
the
a
ones that,
walkie-talkie,
like
yeah.
the big walkie-talkie that they used to use. But yeah, we had the. I had, like you said, I had the bag phone, but the bag phone, I had that because it came free with a car that I purchased.
Right
back in night. I think it was 90. I had a 91 Chevy
It
Corsica.
came with the car.
And it was just an
That's
option.
nice.
It was an option. But it was a bag phone. So I looked like a badass carrying my purse around that had a phone, and I would let people use it. And then I came to find out that I was being charged for every phone call.
Yeah, it was expensive to use them.
So then I was limited to use
Paid
it
for minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I ran around in my late teens, early 20s, and still know him. I'm still good friends with him, Mark Lopez.
Okay.
And he worked for Sprint. And so he was the first one that was coming out with all the new stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So I remember him having it in
was
his car, you know.
He was Do you remember your pager? Did you have a pager?
I did. I did have a pager. Me and my brother were we were doing wall graphics in kids' rooms,
Okay.
and that's when we got them. You know,
Good.
that was the only one I had. That was the only one I had.
Yeah,
And we did that, and that ran for. We did that for a little while, and then it kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, because I had the Motorola. It was kind of like it was flat.
Yeah, that was the one to get.
But yeah, I mean that was when I thought I was big time. But I remember grabbing the pager that it was kind of like a square, but it was on the very top.
Yeah.
You know, it was like
Okay.
you'd have to hold.
Yeah,
it.
yeah. The top was a little
And then
angled a little bit.
and then they were different colors.
Yep.
Yeah, Chris, do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
No, but I'm watching.
Like, are you watching your brother trying to open my beer?
Yeah.
I don't want to cut myself.
How are you going to cut yourself? Just freaking.
Stab it.
I know, but I was like, when I pop it, because I'm going forward, I'm gonna cut my thumb on the
Oh,
edge.
chingo. All right, you're never going to be able to be a bartender. You know what? Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking about those pagers, And I believe the doctors and nurses still use the RNs. I think they still. I think they still use them nowadays.
Really?
Doctors are pay. Yeah, I think they do.
Pager. No, I didn't get anything like that for a while. Did you cut yourself?
No, it's spraying. It didn't. It just got a hole in it.
Give it to him and let him
it.
drink it.
No.
You need I chug it? Oh.
No, I can't because it was just spraying for a second.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you. I appreciate you opening my beer.
Well, I didn't.
Well, you didn't open it. It's just fizzing now.
I know. I was trying to.
What kind of beer is that?
Here, I'll show you.
There you
I
go.
was afraid to cut myself, man.
You gotta be macho, ese.
Ew.
Nice.
My pocket.
Great.
See, it's a Modelo Chelada.
Oh, nice. I gotta try that.
Limon y sal. It's got lime and salt in it already.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
because-
gonna do it anyway.
Exactly. So I mean, this actually saves some time. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I went through the different
What'd you do
different color
with
phones.
them? I
With
mean,
the
what-
what? With the beers or the
No,
my pagers?
no, I knew.
You know what?
to
That's a
do
good
with the
question.
beers.
Actually, I still have a pager, but it's not. It wasn't mine. It was actually my dad's. My
Put it
dad
in
was
the
one of those.
archives.
I should. My dad was one of those guys who just saved everything. You know, he passed away 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I
sorry to
still,
hear that.
yeah, thank you. And yeah, I think my sister might have it, but I'm like, man, I wonder if it still works.
It's different, isn't it? When you lose a
Yeah.
parent.
Oh,
It's like-
definitely. Definitely. Yeah,
It's
it's
just- yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
Really tough. But yeah, it's
It's the family, is just kind of, you lose your nucleus.
yeah.
Like those 50 some people Christmases, they don't happen anymore.
Right.
We're still searching, and it's probably been around that 5-6 years. We have some things set up where we can all, not all of us, but the people that can get together. We probably get together about 3 times a year.
Okay.
And we're there's
Break it up into thirds.
there's me, my niece, and my sister, or just kind of get together and say, okay, what are we going to do this year? And like if we can get people and give them something to do for about maybe 3 times a year, we're doing good.
Yeah.
We'd like to have more, but now the goal is to get more of the nieces and nephews. I got to get my brothers and sisters
you.
all
Yeah.
together and then kind of suck their nieces and nephews back in because they're older, having kids and everything.
Right.
Like that,
Yeah. And then you want to try to keep that, little tradition that you guys had too.
Yeah.
Keep
And
them
that's
going.
The whole thing about, and I think maybe it stems from, the age my kids are at, and it's like, who do they know? And even though it's, me and my wife grew up like totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's she from?
Lee Summit.
Okay.
You mean just like maybe another sibling, one other sibling?
No, like you don't want any part of me. I'm from way on the other side of the tracks.
Ah, okay.
I'm from a place that you don't even want to know. And it's just like you did good. You grew up. You went to college. You just had to do that. I'm from there.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
You
see.
know, and I'm like, and so it's, but just knowing, it's just like, so as crazy, it wasn't even really crazy. I mean, we actually grew up pretty well. Well, this is what I was going to ask you.
What's up?
So you guys talk about 15th Street, right?
Yep.
And down in Argentine.
Correct.
And,
It's right behind Franklin Center.
okay. So, Ruby.
Correct.
Okay.
Ruby Park?
Yeah, Ruby.
Or Ruby Avenue.
Yeah, Ruby Avenue.
Yeah.
Now, Ruby Avenue, I think it's east. How you used to go up and then it used to kind of dissipate, maybe. It wasn't as populated
Right.
on a certain, not going over towards Turner, but the other way, towards Rosedale. Did you guys ever go up that way and then it just kind of stopped? It was a road, but there was nothing going on back there.
Right.
Okay. Well, you follow that maybe 2 miles around, 2.5, and that's where I lived.
Okay. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So we were in Rosedale, but we were that close to Argentine.
Yeah.
And we did the same thing. See, even growing up, kids, when we were playing, we'd go around there and play because there was, there was woods and, just no cars or nothing. But we would never venture off down in Argentine. We'd get right when we hit the pavement, we're like, nah, we're not going to go down there. And we'd go all the way back. Even teenagers or whatever, we would jog around there. I know it was 2.5 miles because I used to go on a 5-mile run. It was 2.5 miles up. You go up by the church and you run down Shawnee Road, and it's a 5-mile run.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that I was thinking about you guys talking about that, and wonder if you guys had came up the other way ever and went back there in that followed Ruby Avenue where it turned into dirt. It was just a big, wide kind of dirt road, but you could just walk in the woods. See, where we grew up, we were kind of starving for kids. There was a lot of older people, but all the houses were on one side of the street. Across the street, there was woods because there was a hill. And there was woods as far as you could see this way and that way. Yeah. And you'd have to walk through the woods, and you can go up to Major Hudson, the grade school, and then you go over the hill, and then there was Shawnee Road. But growing up, you think, man, I want to be down there where everyone is.
Yeah.
We kind of considered it the city. Like, you guys lived in the city.
Okay.
And we lived in the country. Because, but you think about it.
You were literally in the sticks.
We would walk across in our front yard.
Yeah, you're right.
We would walk across the street, and then there was woods. And then we would just run around and do whatever. And you could follow those woods all the way around to you guys. You could go up on top of the hill, and it would level out. Yep. And you would have forts and whatever. And, and it was funny because the woods would go up and over, and then there were friends on the other side. So, just like call them.
Yeah. It's like
I'm trying to imagine that in my head.
I know I can envision everything, but street names, I just don't.
Yeah. You know where they call it the castle, but it was Sawyer's Castle.
Damn it, Art. And that was, it was right in my head.
It's right.
The castle.
The castle?
Yeah. So, I don't think.
It's Sawyer's Castle.
Is that what the name of it was?
Sawyer's Castle.
So you remember Sam Klinkenbeard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kiko.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to live right across the street, kind of like in that area.
You're getting closer because he lived across the street from a convenience store or like a local and
the little neighborhood store, right?
And that thing was real prosperous when we were kids.
Was it the Vargas that owned that?
They do now. They own that building.
Oh, I thought they had a restaurant there.
Well, they make tamales out of there.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so it's still being used, that building.
Yeah, but just like for the kitchen's sake, I think.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like a convenience store.
Right.
But when I was a kid, it was a convenience store. It was Charlie that owned it.
Okay.
And he was a taller guy, black frame glasses with a flat top. And we'd go up there and buy a carton of cigarettes for my dad.
Oh, yeah? You guys would go in there and buy.
Yeah. And he was just like, make sure those get to your dad. So we take a pack of cigarettes out of it, take the rest to my dad. And that's where and then you go around what we used to call around the road. We used to go down the street from our house. We're just in the woods. And then you just kind of smell it, or whatever. And then there was a couple of guys.
Yeah.
And it was my cousin, Jimmy Flores.
Okay.
And it was Joey Blackmore. And they were in the neighborhood, and we'd run around together.
Okay.
And they both smoked them and got sick. And so we were me and my brother Ruben were like,
okay, that's why.
No, that's enough for us. Yeah,
yeah. Okay. That's why we don't want to get sick like you guys.
Confirming. Yeah, we're like, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So that's what you'd go up there and buy a loaf of bread or whatever. And across the street was a barber. Barber, white clothes, the white button.
Yeah.
White hair and a banjo. And he used to sell now and laters inside of his door. Like he had a little shelf right here of now and laters and little candies and the little hot tamales. And you could go in there, and he would almost never be cutting anyone's hair.
Well, because he was on the banjo.
And he could play the dueling banjos.
I think we're overlooking that fact that he
banjo. So he's playing the banjos and he's cutting hair at the same time.
No, it's like, it was weird when you walked in there and he was cutting someone's hair. We'd go in there, and that's where we'd buy candy, and then I would sit and watch him play.
You familiar with the Annihilators?
The Annihilators?
Now
or later. It was a candy. You can either eat it now or later.
I see.
And then you put one in your mouth, and it take you about 45 minutes to eat one.
So
because they were either freaking hard,
even though you're eating it now,
just
you're finishing it later.
Or you can open it up and you can stick it in your molar and just squeeze down on it, and then it would like fuse your molars together. And then you
It would do that.
Oh yeah,
Oh, and then-
open your mouth. Like,
And then when you
Yeah.
open your mouth, you're missing a molar because you pulled some bitch right out.
Yeah, if you had a loose tooth, go get some now and laters.
I lost a tooth eating a Tootsie Roll. Remember the big Tootsie Rolls that
Yeah.
they used to? I
believe
lost a
that.
tooth like that, yeah. Biting into that, and I opened up, and it just
Pulled
popped
it
right
out.
out.
You're like, oh yes.
I was like, damn.
Yeah.
That tooth was rotten anyway.
Didn't you when it got sideways? You know, when your tooth got sideways, and you're like, oh, it's at the point of no return. It's like, oh, okay. You start panicking a little bit.
Right, yeah.
It's like, yeah, I can't turn it. It hurts. I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden,
Yeah, did you ever pull teeth out with the shoe, not the shoestring.
shoelace.
The shoelace? No, not the shoelace.
Floss.
Yeah, like a piece of floss or string,
No,
and you put it to the door.
Doorknob, and you.
I don't think I never tried that.
I thought about it, and I was kind of put it on there, put it around the door, and just thought this won't work because as soon as you're slamming the door, you move forward.
I know, right? You're gonna follow the door.
It ain't gonna happen. Yeah, it's coming out.
But no, that's
you know, growing your kids up.
yeah.
You know, when did you start introducing them to 80s music? I mean, 80s movies,
Hey, man,
90s movies.
That's a good question. I don't remember introducing them to them, but they caught along because we had cable,
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
they were
that
able
and a lot
just to.
we were also really big into VHSs.
yeah.
Yeah, the
So we
VHS
had a ton
movies.
of those. So we'd watch those all the freaking time.
So we did Conan the Barbarian here
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Bad idea.
is that why?
Because you remember, like you guys remember what we remember, right?
Right.
Big, strong fighting scenes and whatever. But you forget about him and the witch
A little weird.
and the graphic
Oh yeah.
sex scene.
Yeah.
And we're just like sitting there with, exactly.
Yeah.
That was good. We're sitting there with my 10-year-old daughter and my 15-year-old son.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope, that was my turn. I'm not going to do this again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movies from the 1980s you can get away with like that. You watch them again, you go, oh man,
Yeah.
that's not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny you say that because of the '80s. Because Marcos and my oldest son, Mario, the third, they love the '80s.
Yeah.
And they just was it Back to the Future? in
Back to the
80s?
Future is one of our 1985.
Yeah, 1985.
Yeah,
the
first
it's,
one.
it's
Good.
one of the classics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because it's clean, it's upbeat, it's got a little everything in it. It's got some action in it.
of
it's
course.
got some good music in it.
yeah, and these guys need to watch Breakin' and Breakin' 2
Yes.
and
Seen all
Beat
those.
Street. Of course,
Yeah.
those are my movies.
If you watch those and watch the moves, and then you watch, how it's kind of came back a
Yeah.
little bit.
It's not the same, but
no,
they
they're- they can't.
nowadays these
They
kids can
hide-
fly.
Yeah,
Right?
that's just they hide the inability to do good moves with how fast they can do them.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're definitely in shape. I mean, I can't take anything away from them, but I saw little clippets of those movies that you were talking about, and I was like, they practice. I mean, when somebody was, acting like they were,
Yeah.
they were. You could see the actual. I mean, kind of took you there. Your body was moving that way.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's not the same. They can't.
You remember seeing Mark Grado dance back in the day?
I didn't. And
No?
I saw that. I was like, I don't remember him dancing. But
Yeah,
maybe he did.
Mark Grado, he was
okay?
smooth.
Was
Mark
he?
Grado,
So he was a technician.
he was good.
We had.
Renegades, man.
I saw that, and I saw that he had brought my name up. And,
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we had conversations kind of before that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, there was, it was just, I told him, I said, you don't know how similar our personalities are, I think. And I think that's where, I'm the dude and you're the dude.
Yeah.
And so we both can't be the dude, but you're kids,
Right.
And you can be.
Yeah.
You can be, and there's no reason why you can't. And then plus, I
Right.
think there's girls got involved there, and I think that's when things got sideways. But it was never. There was always a bunch of tons of respect. That's why nothing ever happened. But we definitely squashed it. Strangely enough, sad to say, another funeral. He was in town, and we just hugged, and we were just like, I was like, dude,
Yeah.
stupid,
Right.
sorry, sorry for carrying myself that way, not to mention, you handle yourself. I'm supposed to handle myself, and I'm supposed to carry myself in a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be up here, and I was just like, man, I'm sorry.
Yep.
And he was like, okay. And I was like, good. So we're good.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. And then I whipped around the corner, ran into Chris Gradle, and that was a whole different conversation. That's a party on wheels right there.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. Good times, though. I'm going to go back to our Harmon. You played sports there. Yeah. How many? What all did you do there, Harmon?
Well, I played.
Did you play basketball?
I played basketball and football in Rosedale, and I had full intentions of doing the same thing at Harmon.
Okay.
And so I played football. I knew I was going to do that, and it was like getting to the close end of the season. I remember Hodge actually pulled me aside and.
What grade?
Freshman.
Oh, your freshman year.
Yeah, and it was outside the field house. We were coming in from practice, and he kind of said, I wanted to talk to you about going out for wrestling. Now, my older brothers, a few of them were actually pretty good. Went to state, and he said, your stature and how you're built and stuff, you're probably not going to go far in basketball, So I would like you to entertain the idea to go, wrestle.
Did he leave out you're Mexican as well?
Well, the thing is if he would have never brought up basketball and said that I couldn't do it, I'd have did it. But there was two reasons why I didn't want to do it. Okay, that was the big one. I was like, because I can't do it. Why are you saying I can't do it?
Mm-hmm.
And plus the fact that, you went to school with us. You knew who the heavyweight wrestler was. It was Frank McClinton. He was 315, 6'5", and he was he was a left tackle. So he had wheels. He could move, and he was strong. And he was big.
Yep.
And he was a state champ probably from 8th grade on. He was leaving Rosedale, going up and practicing at Harmon.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And
man, you know what? And I haven't heard that name in a long time now.
He actually works, he's a manager up at 135th Street Walmart. I ran into him.
Okay.
And this was kind of a funny thing because I was with my kids. I don't even think I had my daughter at the time, but I had my son and my wife. And my wife's 5 foot, blonde.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I see Frank.
Is he still?
Well, yeah, Frank's Frank. So the first thing I do is I walk up to him.
Yeah.
Barrel chested.
And I look up,
Yeah.
And she's like, "What are you doing?" And
stand down.
Yeah, and we hug.
Back to the chopper.
Yeah.
Everybody
Right?
back to the chopper.
But no, I was like, I am not going to be his love mate for, for 2 more years.
All right.
In reality, I should have did it. I should have did it because it would have made me better in football. Anybody that wrestled, that played football was like,
because it kept you in shape.
Was real man strong.
Yeah.
From the fingers to the toes.
Yeah.
Strong. They could, and that was just, it helped everything that you weren't going to work on yourself.
Yeah.
And I should have did it, and it would have made me better.
Yeah. So if you could go back in time, you would tell yourself, first you slap yourself.
I'd go do it.
Yeah.
I would.
Get in the wrestling room, damn it.
I could. I went.
Got one of the best coaches out there.
Yeah.
And then the wrestling team was good back then.
No, they were aces, man.
Yeah.
I tell you what, they were dogs.
Yeah.
They were
and in my
dogs.
freshman year, David Curtis come up.
Yeah. I mean, Lou
Ramirez
was a beast. Mm-hmm. He was he was a
Lou, were you really a beast, Lou?
hand strong beast.
Yeah.
He's got big hands.
He could grab.
He's got thick hands.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm remembering.
You look like freaking sausage links.
Don't let him talk you into playing Crush Your Fingers.
Oh, where you grip
Forget Lou.
Because he'll
Now Lou
he'll
and I,
turn
we're
it.
related. Lou and I
Yeah.
are related. Yeah.
He'll turn
married
it
my
on
cousin
you,
Josie.
and then he's got you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
that-
used to do it to me all the time, and I was, I
Tell him
was,
to do it now, Art.
He would still, yeah.
Don't back
He's
down
got
like
those
that. We'll edit
forearms,
this
man.
part out.
That dude, I mean, it was.
He's
all
cock
this
strong,
rap.
as they say.
He was. And that guy did more. That guy did more bear crawls.
Yeah.
And he would. I don't know why he was.
Because he was in trouble.
He was always going back and forth, but he was, man, it just made him better.
Yeah.
How does he find bully balls to fit his fingers?
He doesn't. They have to
just-
drill it like 3 times in order for him to put his square thumb in there.
Oh, yeah. The bowling ball.
Yeah, he's bold.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a square thumb. It's probably about 1.5 inches tall,
Yeah, he's
1.5 wide. Looks like he's got a SpongeBob on his hand.
There were, though. We had the same group of people for the most part from 8th grade all the way to our senior year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you. I'll say, okay, so the football team that you were a part of.
Yeah.
So I remember my freshman year and trying to play a little bit of JV, and that
Yeah.
didn't work out for me because I was just getting my ass thrown around.
Yeah.
And then we'd have to practice against you guys. And like I said, all you guys just freaking were monsters.
Yeah, we
You know,
were. Yeah,
Tony
we had
Hall and you and Pendleton and
Mike Hall.
yeah, Mike Hall. Who else are the big guys? I mean, yeah,
Well,
Lou and
well, here's the deal. The thing was,
Joe
is
Driver and Bras. I mean,
when we played, everyone had the same mindset. The other teams, and we heard it from other people. They knew when come Harmon, their coaches would tell them, Harmon week, next day you will hurt.
yeah,
They hit you from.
you guys
First
brought
play,
the pain, right?
We brought the pain.
Brought the pain, brought the thunder.
And here's the thing: natural human nature is to run away from big people. And on the field, I would tell guys, I was like, "Hey, don't go that way. Whatever you do, don't go that way."
Yeah,
because it was Ron Trimble, Joey Brajas, Freddie King, David
Freddie
Randall,
King.
Joe
Yeah, because I
Driver.
played with James. his
Yeah.
brother
Now
James.
those guys at the time, they were 5'7", 5'8", maybe 100.
You say Thal?
No, Thal was he was tall already.
Okay,
But the thing was, I would tell the guys on the field, I was like, worst thing's going to happen if I get a hold of you, I'm going to throw you on the ground. Yeah. I said, that dude over there, he's going to try to cut you in half. And sure enough, man, that running back would run over there, and one of those little dudes, man, light him up.
Yeah. Well, how far did you guys go?
We lost one game.
1 year.
Yeah.
What year was that?
Senior year.
Your senior year.
86 season. We lost one game.
Who'd you guys lose to?
We lost to Wyandotte.
Damn it.
Lost
Damn
to
it. I was getting ready,
Wyandotte.
and I was getting ready to say, don't say Wyandotte. Because that's where my wife went to Wyandotte.
We lost a game our 8th grade year to Eisenhower.
Which
Same
is all
group of
those
people.
all those kids.
Same
Yeah.
rascals, Bruce and Brian and all those, and they were, man, that was a good game. I mean, we were playing, but we could have, and I mean,
Do you remember that game? I mean, just like
I remember I remember the halftime conversation because for some reason we came into that game throwing. You
guys didn't throw the ball.
Knew,
Yeah, Joe Driver in the backfield.
Yeah. We
Who else was in the backfield?
It was David, it was Joe. At that time when we were seniors, Benny was back there.
BC, Benny Curtis.
Thal.
Boy.
We had Thal back there. We would put Joey back there. And I mean, we're talking 4.5, 40, 4.4, 4.3, 4.3. I mean, these guys were moving. Anthony Rosenthal, we were running one play around the side in practice.
Yeah.
And I think Hodge was trying to make an example out of me. But I would cheat, man. I was cheating as far as I could, out. And, man, he would just hit it. He's like, I ain't doing nothing but going around the side. Yeah. And boom, boom. I think I was 3 people away from the next person. There's a big old hole there, and he would run around the side.
Speaking of the football, I see you wearing your shirt, your JC Harmon shirt, JC Harmon fan. But you know what's pretty cool is when Those were the T-shirts that they would give us when you become
Yes.
a football player.
Yes.
Harmon
Now,
Hawk.
see, the what we changed is just the football down here.
Yeah, and it's
Now-
his family now.
Now, I made some Harmon football shirts, but see, the thing is the material is the same, the color and the type, and the hawk.
Yeah.
And I did make some for to jump ahead a little bit. I made some for the coaches that are there now. They wear these now.
Okay.
These shirts, and they're like, we like that hawk. So I'm slowly trying to turn it back
Yeah, trying to bring
to
that old
this
Hawk back.
from the Iowa Hawkeye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
You know, I was
the new Hawk that they use
That's
now.
what I told. I was like, what do you think about when you see that hawk?
Iowa.
Exactly. And what do you see when you see this one?
Yeah, exactly what we
Harmon.
saw back in
It's-
the day.
Well, the thing was, there's a funny. Okay, these shirts. You know, you're right. When you signed up and you got your shirt,
Yeah.
you could buy another one.
And that's what I remember.
This was your practice shirt.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Well, I asked Lou because I was like, Lou's saying always was blood, sweat, and tears. That's that's how you earn your blood, sweat, and tears, baby.
Yeah.
Put this on. And so I asked him, I said, I want to use that. I make these and I want to put it on the tag. I told the coach at Harmon now, I said, the shirts I made you now, they are called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. This is where you earn your stripes. Wearing the jersey on Friday, wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. Feels good.
Oh, yeah.
This is where you earn your
I
stripes.
remember that, yeah.
And it was funny because it was every year the underclassmen would be so excited, freshmen especially, come in and they're like, yeah, we got our shirts on. They'd show up and they'd have matching shorts,
That was me.
They'd have this shirt
That was
on.
me. Yeah.
And all the upperclassmen were like in rags, and we're like, you like those shirts? They're like, yeah, I'll talk to you in an hour.
Yeah.
And they're thick and they're hot. And they just soak up the sweat. I mean, you know how
heavy.
The thing was, truth be told, the girls wanted these. They wanted them to sleep in. And the coach was like, I do not want to see anyone else in the school wearing those.
Those shirts, yeah.
Yeah. Don't get it in. And
I wish I still had mine, but eventually you were able to see right through it.
And those were the good ones.
Yeah.
You had your favorite one.
Yep.
And you
They were
would
thinner.
see them morph through the year. Like the sleeves would go cut. This thing would cut off. You know?
And then in the middle,
cut into
they
the
would
V.
start to spread open because it was just.
And you're like, oh yes, this is
it's time to get rid of it.
because those 2-a-days, they were
2 days. Shit. Yeah.
yeah that was for real.
Yeah.
We were rooting, God rest his soul, Scott Pendleton.
Yeah.
Our senior year, the first day of practice, we're like, go. He's finally going to make it through every year, the first practice he would throw up.
Yeah.
And so, man, it was almost at the end, and we were walking in, and he was hanging on the fence. He was like, "Dang it!"
Yeah.
But with that being said, I mean,
Yeah.
you should do your thing.
Yeah. You play both sides of the ball?
I played everywhere.
Did you?
Yeah. It was odd when we started having to kind of cut back and specialize. We felt like what I do wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing. We're just trying to, give you some rest.
I played center and nose guard, so there wasn't too much movement there. When you went offense and defense, you just
Turned around.
just turned
Yeah.
around. It was all, I hiked, punts, kickoff,
did it all.
whatever.
Do you remember your senior year? Do you remember your whole defensive unit? Would you? Or at least the line. Give me the line.
The defensive, I know Mike Hall was on the end. It was switching out a
What
lot.
was Ralph? Ralph Orpeza.
Now, Ralph was a year older than me.
Oh, okay.
Now, Ralph, I was a center, I know, on offense, and he was a guard. Now, on defense, he was a linebacker.
Oh, okay.
And he did real well.
Because he was another monster that I used to see back in the day.
He
and
was
I
all
like,
heart,
"Jeez."
baby. I mean, and they would, I'm telling you.
Yeah, man, James. When
Yeah.
James ended up playing with you guys.
James. And it was just like, but all that mindset that we got, we got from the guys that we played with 2 years prior.
Okay.
Leonard Jenkins, Terry Allen, Chuck Hinton. I mean, Frank McClinton. I mean, they were just bringing it. I mean, Willie Owens. Willie Owens still coaches down in. I think he went to New Mexico to play football, and then I think he still coaches down there. I think girls basketball or something.
Oh,
like
okay.
That. But I mean, that was for. I remember Tyrone Williams when we were in practice. We ran a tackle trap, and Frank was right in front of me, right?
Yep. And
me being, dumb, I thought I moved him. 315 pounds, 6'3", 6'4". I thought I got him to go this way.
Uh-huh.
And what I do, I cut right off his butt. And what I see Tyrone coming right here.
Uh-huh.
Was the plays coming this way. And he tackled me. We're in practice. He's on
Right,
offense.
right, yeah.
I was like, you're not supposed to. He hit me.
What are you doing?
And I just was like, bam. And I remember it was in 2 days. You know? It was the first week of pads of 2 days. And then so we go home, and I go to sleep and I wake up and I'm like, man, I can't move my neck.
Oh, shit.
So I get in the shower.
Yeah.
And I get back to, I had to have had a concussion. It was lights out, man. He hit me.
Just hit the ground.
Man,
I hit Joe and David Rangel once each in 5 years, and that was on purpose.
Uh-huh.
Because I was like, that's enough for me.
Right.
And these guys were all 5'7", 5'8". And like I said, the little guys on our team, they were bringing wood.
I remember playing in a purple and white. Remember when we used to do the purple and white games?
Oh, yeah. Try to kill each other.
And those are fine. Yeah.
Show team. This is supposed to be before they start
It
the
was-
season.
Yeah,
They're trying to
and
kill
they
each
started
other.
back-
And I was
off.
playing, and I was at a
That was the best.
I was at a right corner, and I got the
The blitz call?
yes, I shot corner blitz, right? So I shot in, and at the time Anthony Sanchez was the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he dropped back and he was looking down, and he had his arm up to get ready to throw a pass, and I saw the ball, and I was just either going to hit him or try to swipe the ball out.
Yeah.
Benny Curtis, out of nowhere, and you remember how big Benny Curtis was. He was the running back. I did not see Benny. I did not see Benny, and I'm running full sprint.
There's a different kind of sound that comes from Benny's hits.
And then, bam! He hits me.
Yeah.
We hit head on. He hits me so freaking
and that
hard.
was on purpose.
Yes, and he was like, "I'm not letting you get to my quarterback."
Yeah.
He hit me so hard that I think I knocked out. I think I was done.
Yeah.
But he held me up.
Yep.
He held on to me. He said, "Come on, Mott. I'm not gonna let you do that, Mott." He used to call me Mott.
Yep.
And I think he carried me off the field.
Oh yeah.
And I was concussed for the remainder of the game.
Yeah. He was going to take care of it, but
He
wasn't
took
gonna
care of his
embarrass you.
quarterback. Yeah, he took care of his quarterback. He drugged me off the field. I don't even know, Benny. I don't even know if you remember this. And he drugged me off the field. And I remember I took my helmet off, and the guys were looking at me like, "Damn, you got laid out. You got, I was like,
And Benny's probably the
said,
first
"What
one
happened?"
that stood up and said, "Man, leave him alone."
and they said my face was red.
Yeah.
And I was concussed. I know I was.
Pressure, all the pressure built up.
Yes, I just freaking hit me so freaking
Yeah,
hard.
that whole label on the back side of that helmet,
Right?
that didn't mean nothing. Remember, after games, the thing was to look at your helmets and see how many colors you had.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just like, you were headhunting. We were going.
Trying to get the other
I think I had a lot of colors, but they were hitting me. I wasn't hitting them.
If you crapped your pants, you
It
hit
is what it
somebody
is.
and they crapped their pants,
Yeah.
that's fine. I busted my face mask off.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah, playing Sumner. And it was like a big wreck. It was like, I had the guy, and I was like, I'm just going to hold him because that running back's coming. Yeah. And as soon as he came in, as soon as he was going to slide right off his butt, I chucked him, and boom, man, it was a big old wreck. And I stood up, and there was snot coming out of my nose, and the face mask was hanging all the way off. And I was just, all I knew is he was laying down. And I was like, I need another helmet.
Right.
I was like,
This was broke.
I went off to the side and I was like, give me your helmet. You don't play.
Yeah.
And I grabbed it and I tightened
That
it
was
up.
probably my helmet you took.
But no, it was, but all of that was, to me, the games were, for one thing, they were way easier than our practices. But
Yeah, that sounds so.
The games were very minute and secondary to all the time and camaraderie
Yeah.
that we put into practices meant the world to me. I mean, they did.
We're like the Al Bundys, right? We like to talk about our football past.
Well, you're talking about kids that had nothing,
Right.
and it wasn't a recreational thing for us. There were people that were legitimately that could get their schooling paid, you know,
Right.
and make a little difference.
Yeah.
You know, for their families, and their families were backing them up, and they knew it. You know, and then it was just the sheer friendship that and the torture that we were going through, if you call it that, you know, and we all made it. And that's why from, I guess, starters to not, you know, everyone, that's why the people that didn't start were so much more important than the actual starters. The starters would never be as good as they are if you didn't have the same mindset all the way through. There was nobody that we played with that didn't think you give them an inch and I got your spot.
Right.
I'm coming. It's my time's coming.
Yeah.
You know, and you get hurt and you ain't getting your spot back. Now, when you got that from the water boy all the way to the blue chipper,
Yeah.
you know, that's hard to beat, man.
Oh,
you
definitely.
swap another guy's coming in. It's like, it's my turn. I'm going to
yeah.
go crazy.
And that's at every level of the game, you know.
Yeah, and that
To this
but
day.
that right there in itself was what I fell in love with.
That's cool.
It was just all the practices, all the hardcore. I remember so much more about, you know, the brain and practice, and you know, and just having to run, and you know, just
Yeah. Speaking of the rain, yeah. I mean, we're getting close to the end here. That picture, of course, it's in our yearbook of you in the rain. You know, I'm gonna have to show Marcos and Chris that picture.
Yeah,
of
turning
you.
around.
Yeah.
And I tell you what,
I mean, you're standing there. I think you're like,
I turned around this way
Yeah.
for a second, because if the coach caught you looking at the fans,
yeah.
you paid hell the next day.
I have to show. And it's a classic picture because it pops up once in a while. You know, I know you posted it, and I'll look through my Facebook
you're
yearbooks, and I'm like, oh, there's art.
Yeah, I turned around, I took a picture, and I turned back. Yeah, no, you
that's
could
funny.
not.
Now I
You're
got a story behind
You
it.
have no business out
Looking
there
up
in
at the crowd.
stands.
Right.
No,
Right.
none. Here's
That was the rule.
business right here. Yeah, no, that was, and it was understood.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right. Well, before we end, let me ask you something real quick. The by any chance, are you still looking into wanting to do a podcast, or maybe later on down the road?
Mine was more so figuring out how to promote my company.
Okay.
And the podcast was a roundabout way
Okay.
to advertise myself. So that was kind of first and foremost.
Uh-huh.
The podcast initially started out as just probably kind of like, you're just something kind of heartfelt and something kind of fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think like now going through the windstorm that I went through the last couple of months, now I can actually sit down and think about it.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to do something.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to do something this next year coming up, and I'm going to focus more on my promo items in my company. So I'm going to have to promote it somehow. So yeah.
Well, no, good luck to you. I mean, hopefully you get it going, you know, and if there's
Okay.
anything,
I
there's
mean,
anything we can do to help you
Yes.
out. And if you ever need somebody to sit in with you and talk
Yes.
sports or whatever you wanted
Yes.
to do it on, you know,
that was the initial thought was to do that. And I wasn't even going to be the lead. It was actually going to be Richie Blazovic.
Oh, Blaze. Okay.
Yeah. Because, and that's another conversation about
Right.
how I met Blaze.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that I was really just going to be
Yeah.
the side, because it was more, I mean, I would like to do one with you and Blaze, because you guys are probably more knowledgeable about sports than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I was all passion.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you like what I fell in love with. I mean, like
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I didn't even really, I mean, I expected us to win.
Right.
But my love was was the camaraderie and
Right.
practice. And so that's kind of still where my mindset is. All the stats and everything like that, I'm kind of foggy on. But if I can get on the bandwagon on something pretty quick, if somebody's,
Yeah.
I wanted, when my kids were growing up, I wanted to take all the kids that were not stars and let's go do something.
Yeah. That's cool.
Because that's where you get the love of the sport.
Right.
The love of the sport is what you want people to have. And kind of Richie explained it the other day, kind of clear to me. It's like eventually at some level, we all become, not the best.
Right.
We all become bench riders. We do.
Right.
We keep going, eventually. Yeah. So it's the love of the sport that you carry on with you and maintain.
Oh, I
Yeah,
totally
ladies
forgot
and
about
gentlemen, Mr. Vargas here brought me a nice little gift. I'm about to open up. Sorry, we had to wait till the end of the show, but
No, that's
I
fine.
like
that's fine.
forgot about that.
like the colors.
Yep,
They got the
yep,
purple, the
yep.
white. Let's go
Yep,
back
I
to
missed out
Harmon.
on the gold. I was rushing.
Oh no, was gold much in our uniforms
Yeah,
back then?
it was. You know what? When I was underclassman coming up, varsity wore purple, white, and gold.
That's aggressive for just 2 pieces of tape.
I wanted to show everybody I carry a knife.
It's sharp.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here. All right. Let's get some more purple in here.
Yeah. See, I told you I missed out.
Pull my blade, is it?
See, it's all about presentation.
Yeah, I like this. Oh, damn. And then we were talking about the shirt.
Yeah, there you go. Now you got your shirt.
Now I feel like I'm going to be walking from Argentine all the way up the hill to Harmon.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
Just,
Yeah,
just
very
don't,
nice. And I hadn't owned one of these since my freshman year.
Just don't wear it in the summer because it's gonna get all heavy.
Yeah, it'll be hot for sure.
Oh, I appreciate that. I do. That's
You're
awesome.
welcome. You're
Because
welcome.
like I said, I would see these T-shirts, and I had no idea that you were making these.
Yeah.
But I would see them around, and I'd be like, "Damn, I remember those shirts."
We had
Thank you so much,
You're
sir.
welcome.
I appreciate it.
We had several years ago. We had me and Tony Franco put together a little gathering, and we were just going to put something together for the fellas, and that's what
Yeah.
we thought. I was like,
That's
what?
cool.
I'm going to try to remake our old shirts, and I was like, I just need one. Who has one? You
Yeah.
know? And
Who had
it? You remember Mr. Lieber?
Yeah.
The weightlifting coach.
Yes.
Yeah. I connected with him, and he's like, I got one left.
Wow.
And he said it's all wore out,
Beat up,
And
but
I
you can
said-
at least
I
get the
said-
artwork.
I said, put it on the ground, take a picture of it. That's all I need. I have
Yeah.
one of my designers take it. Actually, my
Touch it
brother
up.
Ruben,
Okay.
he reworked it a little bit, and then I had one of my other designers refine it.
Yeah. That's cool.
And and then so we made them.
Yeah.
And then so the fellas, that's where they started. And actually, Tina Payne was the one that, because she was like, I don't want one that says football. I want one that says something else. And then so Franco was like, well, what about family? And I was like,
That's it.
That's the one right there that's
Yeah.
going to stay.
That's it.
So just to let you know, I have the Harmon football ones too. I just
Do you
have one
really?
in your size. You were going to get one.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. All right. So before we end, thank you
Yeah,
for,
you're welcome.
for coming in.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the shirt. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it has.
So before we end, I like to ask my guests their favorites.
Okay.
I don't know if you end. So favorite season.
I'd have to say fall.
The fall.
Yeah.
Autumn.
Yeah. I'd have to say
Autumn
fall
season.
because it's cool.
Because it's football weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Because-
It's cool. I bog down, man, in the heat.
Yeah.
I just can't get anything done. So no, I think so. Maybe the holiday seasons and I just get a little. I'm more active.
Okay. So
I'm big and fat.
so my number 2 is holiday. What's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday is, I don't know. I guess it would be Christmas.
Yeah.
It jumped around a little bit there for a while, but I think it's back to Christmas now.
Yeah.
I think I do.
Yeah, being that you got the Santa beard, you going there. Man, how long is it taking you to grow that?
I cut it. I've trimmed
You
it.
just trim it. Just keep it trimmed. It looks good.
Well, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks,
it looks. Yeah,
thanks.
it looks really
I've been bugging my nephew about his little workings on how to
Keep
what
it shape
and he finally said, go on YouTube and look these guys up. They're really great.
Oh, and that's what you did.
experts,
Huh?
yeah, and they like,
But really, it's my 5 to 7 years ago.
Yeah.
My daughter, she asked me, she said, "Can you grow a beard?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I just had never.
No, yeah, you wear it well. You wear it well. It looks
It's
good.
been shorter and it's been long. It's longer right now. And then, I think before Christmas.
I proved it and then some.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
it's really, and secondary, when I was working for a print company, I was like at my end, like, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now?
Yeah.
It was kind of at the same time. And I was always clean shaven.
Right.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I started growing my beard because it was kind of a transition.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I'm going to do my own thing. And
That's cool.
Yeah. And it was, don't ever go.
You say, I'm not growing anything up top anymore, so I'm going to grow it down.
Yeah, exactly. I started cutting that. Yeah. I used to have the full head of hair.
Yeah?
Yeah. And
I remember
they
that.
all jumped out.
Then passed you up. Yeah. What's your favorite dessert? Do you have one?
Yeah.
Or do you have many?
Well, you know what? The first thing would be apple pie or Jell-O.
Or both. Put them on top. Put
No,
the Jell-O.
really.
Jell-O pie.
I mean, Jell-O goes back to like mom. Making
Yeah.
a big old green Jell-O. Think of green Jell-O. And
Yeah, there you
being
go.
able to eat as much as you want. But yeah, apple pie, man.
That's cool. Yeah. Favorite movie of all time?
You can't handle the truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything, man, with Jack Nicholson in it.
Yeah.
Rocks. And, yeah.
What was the name of that movie?
Well, I don't. What
What
was
was
it?
the name of it? You can't. Oh, Few Good Men?
You could pick any. You could pick The Shining. It's just more,
Anything with Jack Nicholson.
Oh my gosh,
The Batman.
He's just the man. Yeah. Oh God, I think me personally, he was the best Joker.
Yeah.
He was the best Joker, man.
Yeah.
He's like a mix of old school 20s actor going into new age. He's so classy, I mean, there's little snippets out there that of him just being in a tux, and there was some lady that was smitten by him. And he was old, and she was smitten by him, and he came over and said something to her, a couple words, and she was just giddy about it. And then he walked away, and he came back, and he was like, "I'm still here." And she just lost it. Yeah, he's cool.
I think that was oh shit, that's long.
It was Tom Cruise.
It was A Few Good Men.
A Few Good Men. Yeah.
You can't handle the truth.
There you go.
We live in a world that has walls, and those
Yeah, he
walls
was the
have
shit.
to be guarded
Yeah.
by men with guns.
He's
Who's
just huge, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Last but not least, number 5, favorite decade.
The 70s.
Oh yeah? 70s guy.
Yeah, yeah. Because growing up, I mean, the music,
Yep.
the soul in that music, is and really that was seeing I was youngest and seeing my older brothers. I mean, when you're at a house, when you're at a house and you got a Barracuda there, you got 2 Camaros, you got
Barracuda.
a Trans Am like Smoking the Bandit.
Hell yeah.
A short bed Silverado.
Right.
And they're all sitting there, there's the twins. The boys, one of them went.
Oh, so you have boys and a set of girls?
Yes.
Nice. That's cool.
And the set of twins, they went to AVTS, and one went for auto body because he was more creative, and the other one went for engine maintenance mechanic. And so they were working on their cars all the time. And if you were nice and you didn't bug them a lot, you could sit in the car. And
You can sit it. You can't drive it. But you
no,
can sit
because they're working on them.
Yeah.
And you could smell, the gangster block cars and the leather seats, in the Camaro, and you could put the 8-track in and listen to, Fleetwood Mac.
There you go.
Or Chicago, it's just, and then plus, just really, it's all the soul music, man. The real band music, with instruments, drums, horns, that stuff like that, Earth, Wind and Fire, just that really is, that's my playlist. That's my music right there. You know, and my wife will even tell me, you know, she was like, "Can you play something current?"
I know, right? Yeah, that's the way we are. I play that. All right. Well, before we end the show, thanks for putting out when I brought up "We're Here, Sun is Here."
Oh my gosh! When you brought that up, I looked it up and I was like, "Oh Lord, finally, finally!" I never knew. For one thing, I never knew that's where it came from, and for another thing, I always wanted to kind of hear it again.
Yeah.
And so just hearing that first part, you could, you know, I ran into Michael Warren down on 18th and Vine. I was doing work, for one of my clients down there, and he came walking out of a jazz band. He was a jazz club. He was playing drums. This was in the afternoon. And I ran into him and I was talking to him. But I thought at that point, I was like, you know, I'm starting to think you and my cousin Jimmy and Randy Smith. I'm thinking about all these people that are like, you guys were in the band. You guys are going to play it again at some point. You know,
I know, right? That would be cool, man.
No, I got to hear it, man. Because I tell you what, I told people, said, you guys don't realize, and you knew because you were in the field house.
Right.
That big metal door that was closed. By the time they opened that thing, man, they were letting out a pack of wolves coming out of that thing. I mean,
you know what? That'd be cool if somehow the band could play that.
You don't really need you need the drummers. You need some horns.
Yeah, that's all you need. Drummers and horns. Yeah,
kind of. You know, to kind of put it together. You know, and
are you working on that? You gonna try to get it together?
Man, when I saw him, I was like, this is happening for a reason. And if I could pull it, he's supposed to have a little get together in the summer for the fellas at his house. And he said he wanted to have a pool party. And I said, well, if you have it, if you entertain, you open your house up, we pay. That's just how it works. You're going to open your house up, we bring the stuff.
Okay.
You know, you can't like do both. That's just not cool.
Yeah, because I have a lot of family members that that are all part of the band, so I'm sure they can.
When you exactly when you brought that up, there were all of the. We need to.
Yep, that'd be dope, man.
Because I tell you what,
let's do it.
And just to be able to record it once, and then we got it.
I know, right? And then they could. Well, Art, thank you for coming in, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. I like I said, we appreciate you coming in. Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah,
you know, this was fun, and good to see you in person.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Maybe we'll see each other. You know, here and there.
Yeah, I mean, from the listening to everything, I mean, it seems like you guys are still busy doing things. You know. Yeah, maybe. And when you guys went down to the
nest.
Yeah, the nest.
Yeah,
now that
was fun too.
I need to get back down there.
Yeah, you need to come back down. You'll see a lot of people.
Yeah, I need to.
Yeah. All right. Again, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Mark.
Yep.
Ready to go?
Yep.
I think this is good. Chris, we good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the Big Modcast. Until then, peace out. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the Big Modcast.
If you like what you saw, you want to see previous episodes, click right here.